up mine eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from the I Am, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The I Am is thy keeper. The I Am is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The I Am shall preserve thee from all evil, and he shall preserve thy soul. The I Am shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth, even forevermore. Psalms chapter 121. Deliver me from the hands of evil spirits who have swayed the thoughts of men's hearts, and let them not lead me astray from thee, my God. Establish thou me and my seed, that we go not astray henceforth and forever. Jubilees chapter 12 and verse 20. Yes, we thank God for you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You're walking with Mr. Clay. I'm Mr. Clay. And also we thank God for those of you that have been with us since the beginning, and those of you that have been with us here and there's about, and those of you that have just subscribed, and those of you who are about to subscribe, as well as those of you who just want to view to find out what's going on incognito or what have you. And we thank God for you, calling those things that are not as though they are. Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We're here and we're in the book of Chronicles. First Chronicles, and as you prepare, chapter 27. First Chronicles chapter 27. Yes, we thank God for his mercy and his favor. You know, in this world today, we've been pushed around many times, pushed around. There's so many things that God wants to do for us. And you're talking about pushed out of the country. Jacob pushed out of Israel. But Israel is the people, is its people. Israel is not just the land. Israel is his people, scattered all over the earth, made to not even know who they are, made to not even come. Some of them have completely, many out of ignorance, some out of anger, some out of disappointment, and some just can't wait. Where is God? Where is his promise? Who is he? Why did he do us this way? Why did he, you even hear some say, why? He said that Adam and Eve supposed to have died the same day. Well, apparently, I think that the New Testament did give you a good glimpse. If you're that adamant about your desire to know who God is, you will study the different religions. You will study. And you will try to figure out, where did I come from? Who is my creator? How did I originate here? How was I, when my mother and my father copulated? My father and my mother copulated. How did this start? Who created that? Who caused this to be? You know, even in this day, we marvel at man because he can take the process of birth and create test tube babies and everything. But this thing he has never done. It's the order of the Most High. Everything knows its order. Within your body, there's a whole nother civilization there, a whole nother order. From your DNA to your organs to whatever works, how the blood flows, how this flows, how that does. In every species, even in the earth, there are movements going on that you know not of. Even the movement of a plant coming out of the ground to nurture your sinful body. Yes, your lawless body. And for those of you who obey the law, your lawful body. Yes. These things come from the Most High. Yes, he has caused us to be nurtured by the earth, and some have been to the point they have become so foolish to say the Queen of Heaven or to attribute the Most High to a woman. It's not putting woman down. It's that if you look at the attributes of the Most High, you will find out in every clime and place that order is the virtue of men. Order and law is the virtue of men. Nurturing is a virtue of man. Nurturing overall is a virtue of women. No, God, that's why we liken unto him as a male. We shouldn't, but that's the way we do it. And it's written that way too, because of the attributes that God has displayed throughout the Bible, is that of a male. Now, a woman, no, he doesn't come stroking your hair at all, but he did show some nurturing. And even when he took the prophet Jonah, and he just despised the children of Nineveh because they hated. He hated them because they did not love God. But God felt compassion on them, and that he even allowed a gourd to grow over his head to keep the sun from beating down on him to kill him. He wanted to die rather than tell those people to repent. But nevertheless, God is all in all. You know, in all man he can nurture. Man can raise a child, man can raise a baby, but God didn't put the male for that. That's why he took from the male and made the woman. It's not necessarily the ribs. That could be a very good misnomer. The rib of a man is not what that means. God took the DNA, which we call the rib or whatever. We don't know why the English put it that way, but we know that God took from the man and created the woman. She wasn't created from the dust of the ground. She was created from whatever came from the man. Now, how's that translated? I don't know. But we know God took from the man and created the woman. And then the woman, in everything, the man gave woman life. The woman gives back to the man life. The man gives, the woman receives and gives back. It's a steady cycle. This is why marriage is so important. The same thing with God. God gives to us and we give back. We give back our praise. We give back his glory. We give back just being in his presence as he gives us deliverance, as he gives us freedoms, as he gives us eternal life. We give him back praise. That's all he asks. He doesn't ask much. And to put him as the hierarchy in our mental psyche, as we're going to put it. In other words, number one. This is all we give back to God. This is all he asks for. And to learn and know of him is how we can do these things, because we will know how once we learn how. Not just skipping over and hear this man or that. This is why God has really gotten into the hearts of these heathen to even copy the things of the Torah, or should I say the Septuagint, or however you want to put it. Septuagint, how the other translation of the Old Testament. The New Testament, we separated from the Old Testament because the New Testament is full of heresy. Yes, there are some insertions in the Old Testament, but overall the Old Testament, it stands true. Even to the point where if you look at I was listening to a noted man, shout out to Curie Mayo. I mean, the fact is that you find out even Nigeria and all its surrounding areas, most of those were the Arabs. They are the descendants of the Arabs, the true, pure Arabs. The ones that you have, if you read the book by Anu Bantu and Gert Mueller, you're going to find out they are not the true, pure Arabs. They are the white Arabs. They are not the Arabs that are true and pure. I do not say the Arabs' color because there's no need to say the color, because it's automatically who they are. But I say white to show that they are false. They are imposters. The same thing in Egypt. They are imposters. Whatever they are, they have stole the identity, apparently according to the will of the Most High, that we might understand that we need to come. Egypt knew God. The pharaohs, all these, but they came up with the doctrines of devils. Yes, the witchcraft and all this witchery and the dreams they have. All the mythology they have comes from the dreams of men. Maybe they had some marijuana or some LSD or something. We don't know. They had something. Some type of drug, or maybe they had some fentanyl or something, that they start dreaming about these different gods, and then the Greeks stole them. Made their own gods in order to control the people. But that didn't work, so they decided, well, we're going to go into Israel and do this. We're going to take from this narrative of the Old Testament, and we're going to make up this thing that we see they're looking for, a Christ. But your Christ is those who will keep the commandments, statutes, and ordinances of the Most High. The same thing according to the book of Enoch. He will come with 10,000s of his anointed. Anointed meaning Christ. Christo, saints. This is English stuff. It really is nothing. God says those he has set apart. And they stayed apart according to his will. Yes. Now, 1 Chronicles chapter 27, it reads, Now the children of Israel after their number, to wit, the chief fathers and captains of thousands and of hundreds, and their officers that served the king in any matter of courses which came in and went out the mouth by mouth throughout all the months of the year of every course were 20 and 4,000. The police officers, the governors, however they had to rule and govern each province. David couldn't be in every place, just like your Satans. They cannot be in every place, just one evil entity is not equal with God. That is foolery. It is heresy. It is an abomination to even compare an evil beings as to being one. This is their deceit towards you. And God allowed this to turn you backward, Israel. There was a Satan that stood against Israel at one time. Yes, a Satan. Even in this Old Testament, it's a misnomer to say one. Now, he said they went out, and their officers, and served the king in any manner of courses, which came in and out month by month throughout all the months of the year, of every course 20 and 4,000. 24,000 people he has dispatched throughout all Israel to take care of the king's business. This is your governors, your rulerships, and all these things. Now, over the first course of the month was Jeshobim, the son of Zabdiel, and in his course were 20 and 4,000. That means something toward God, El. You look at that word El. That's the only thing I understand. Verse 3, And the children of Perez was chief of all the captains of the host for the first month. In other words, they had a cycle. They had a circuit. You call it a circuit court or whatever you want to call it. It could be that way. And over the course of the second month was Dodai, the Ahohite. And his course was Mikloth as the ruler. See, this is what I'm talking about. In his course, likewise, were 20 and 4,000. Now, the fact is, they were governors, they were officers, they were what you would call law enforcement. But they wasn't classified as law enforcement at that time, but they did enforce the law. The same law that you see in the book of Moses. This is what I say. Did your law in your country or your city or your state pass? Did you have a Messiah? This is not religion. This was the government of Israel. This is why I say even in the Passover, we cannot really keep it because we're not in our land. It's not enforced. We have no Levites. So we have to wait on the Most High. If we die in that course, as long as we kept the law and the Sabbath, that's all God requires right now. You are a prisoner of war. You are in a place where you cannot keep these things. In some places, you will actually go to jail for animal cruelty. Because these are the way Christians think. This is who writes these laws, these paganistic people who worship a man. And of the children, and verse 4, and over the course of the second month was Dodai the Amorite. And his courses was Milkoth also the ruler, and his course likewise were 20 and 4,000. And the third captain of the host for the third month was Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, a chief priest. Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, a chief priest, and his course were 20 and 4,000. So Benaiah was a chief priest, whether that was the one that was with David or this might just have been a Levite. And that is that Benaiah who was mighty among the 30 and above the 30. This was one who was faithful to the throne of Israel. Yes. And his course was Ammizabad, his son. And the fourth captain in the 4th month was Asaiel, the brother of Joab, yes, and Zebediah, and his son after him, and those in his course were 24,000. Yes, these are law enforcers. This is part of the army, or whatever you want to call it. It's the government of Israel. These are the ones that should have if a man was caught with another man, they would have been put to death. Or woman with another woman, they would have been put to death. If a man was caught having relations with another man's wife, he and her would have been put to death. Yes. This would have happened. Now, if the man had found a maiden that was not married in the field, get me here, he would have been a side chick. But the fact is, according to the law, he would go to her father and ask for her hand in marriage. Even though he was married, still he is justified in this, that he did go to his father and ask for her hand in marriage, and she would have been one of his wives. Yes, this is the way God has it. Other than that, if they had no intention and this thing happened, it was being classified as rape, or both of them would have been put to death. Yes, this is the way God said that people might fear to respect the union of marriage. Let's continue. Now, the 4th captain was Asahel, the brother of Joab, Zebediah, his son after him, and in his course were 24,000. And the 5th captain for the 5th month was, these was in a cycle. They were in a cycle. They come from 1, 2, 3, all the way from the month of Abib to the last month. Or back to the month of Abib, should I say. And who was the first? The children of Perez, chief of all captains. They were the ones to keep things going. They had a cycle that they can spend time with their crops, spend time with their families, and all of this. Today you work 24/7. Law enforcement is so screwed up in certain countries that they are frustrated. They go after those who don't look like them even the more. And they go after those who are in crime and stuff, not even keeping the laws of the land. And now they go after them, taking their money and sell it back, and somebody tell on them and they go after them. Wickedness. Good is evil and evil is good in this world today. Okay. The 5th in verse 8. The 5th captain for the 5th month was Shamhuth, the Azarite. And in his course were 24,000. It's 24,000. And the 6th captain for the 6th month was Ira, the son of Ikish, a Tekoite. In this course were 24,000. And the 7th captain for the 7th month was Heliz, the Pelonite, the children of Ephraim. And his course was 24,000. They all served the king. They all served the king. And this here was not only, it's just to carry out the law. This is the order of Israel. See, David came back and restored order. The lawgiver, Judah. Yes, to give law enforcement, to give law judgment of the law, concerning of the law, yes, and sentence. The 7th captain for the 7th month was Helez, the Pelonite. And let's go to verse 11. And the 8th captain for the 8th month was Sibbecai, the Hushathite of the Zarahites. And his course were 24,000. The 9th captain for the 9th month was Elbeezer, the Antothite of the Benjamites. And his course was 24,000. The 10th captain for the 10th month was Marai, the Nephathite, the Netophonite, the Netophonite, yes, of the Zandrites. And in his course were 24,000. The 11th captain for the 11th month was Benaiah, the Padathite, the children of Ephraim, and his court was 20 and 4,000. Not to be confused with the first Benaiah. The 12th captain for the 12th month was Hidiel the Nephrathite, the Netophathite of Othiel. In his course, 24,000. Furthermore, these are 12 months. There's a 12-month cycle that was going here. Furthermore, over the tribes of Israel, the ruler of the Reubenites was Eleazar, the son of Zetri, and the Simeonites, the Zephatiah, the son of Micaiah, and of the Levites, Hashabiah, the son of Kemuel, of the Aaronites, Zadok. Of Judah was Elihu, one of the children of David, Issachar, Omri, and the son of Michael, the son of Mishael, or Michael, whichever. Of Zebulun was Ishmaiah, and the son of Obadiah, Naphtali, Jerimoth, and the sons of Azriel. And the children of Ephraim was Hosea, the son of Azaziah of the tribe of Manasseh, Joel, the son of Pedaiah, the half-tribe of Manasseh in Gilead, Idu, the son of Zechariah of Benjamin, and Jaasiel, the son of Abner. And Dan was Azrael, the son of Jotham. These were the princes of the tribe of Israel. They were rulers in Israel. What they mean by princes. They were ruler in the 12 tribes, in the land of the 12 tribes. But David took not the number of them from 20 years old and under, because the I Am had said he would increase Israel like the stars of the heaven. Okay, this is what he did. So Joab, the son of Zeruiah, began to number. But David took not the number of them from 20 years old and under. No, why? Because there was no reason to. God didn't tell him to do that, because the I Am said he would increase Israel like the stars of heaven. Joab, the son of Zeruiah, began to number, but he finished not, because he felt wrath for it against Israel. Neither was the number put in account of the Chronicles of King David. Okay? And over the king's treasure was Azmeth, the son of Adiel, and over the storehouses in the field, in the cities, and in the villages, and in the castles were Jehonathan, the son of Uzziah, and over them that did the work of the field for tillage of the ground was Israel. In other words, they had their farmers. These guys grew crops. They grew crops. They grew large fields. The son of Chilub, and over the vineyards was Shemiel and the Rothmathite. Over the increase of the vineyards for the wine cellars was Zabidi and the Shifmite. And over the olive trees and sycamore trees that were in the low plains were Balhanan and the Gerdite, and over the cellars of oil was Joash. And over the herds that fed Sharon, the rows of Sharon, that fed in Sharon was Shitrai and Sharonites. And over the herds that were in the valleys of Shaphat, the son of Adlai, over the camels was also Abiel and the Ishmaelite. And over the asses were Jedidiah and the Miriam. Now see, you can always look at this and say, well, the Most High did. There were other people that joined themselves in Israel. You can see this by the description of the tribe that they are in. So by this we know that there were Ishmaelites, there were all kind of people. Now a lot of people that there are Ishmaelites right there in Nigeria, in that Nigeria area, because the land of Nigeria is not really the true area. There's no such thing as Nigeria. There's no such thing as Niger or all this other stuff. All that stuff was done by colonizers who wanted to steal the resources of the land, whether it be human or whether it be minerals or what have you. They wanted to steal, so they divided the land amongst each other, as we all well know. Now it's getting to the point where, okay, you have territories. We got these lands, and now here we're going in Sahel. We have these lands, we have these places where our tribes or our people live, so we're going to do away. You don't need a passport to go through this stuff anymore. We're getting away from the colonizer and his way. We're tired of him. Let's do this our way. It's okay that other people come there that have joined themselves onto that part of the land, but we still know those who belong here, is what they're saying, really. Now, over the flocks was Jahiz in verse 31, the Jairite, and all these were rulers of the substance which was King David's. In other words, all these things were made state. This is what the way they did back up there in Judah, or should I say Israel, the land called that was named after Israel. They had everything was state owned. That way no colonizer or nobody can come and claim it that didn't take it after war. The same thing should happen in the rest of Africa. It's the fact you're going to have to take all your land and state own it. So no one can own land that is not indigenous of that land or was not the first one there in the land. And sorry, the guy from South Africa that says they were there before the people there, you're wrong, dead wrong. But either way, your own history tell you that. Because if you were there before them, why didn't you fight the Zulu? Why didn't you fight the other tribes in South Africa? You don't make no sense. And then you can sit up there with your arrogant self and talk a bunch of trash. They need to put you on a little rubber boat and let you out in a shark-infested water and just let you do your thing. Yes. But don't come back. Now, David's uncle was counselor, a wise man and a scribe. And Jehiel, the son of Hakmoni, was the king's sons. And Ahithophel, the king's counselor, and Hushai, the Archite, was the king's companion. In other words, just what happened was the king, they wanted the same setup as in heaven. This is the same setup, but except there's a man in charge. God did it because they were pagans from the time they came out of Egypt. They still had a paganistic mindset. Else you wouldn't have had the judges after they took over the land of Canaan. So God allowed them to have the king. He set it up to the point where he is the king. He still is. He's taking his place back. That's when he comes, he's going to be king of all the earth. You're going to have no presidents. You're not going to have none of this stuff. God shall rule, and he shall have those that shall rule with him. He can be everywhere, but he's give something for people to do. Something for his angels to do, and everything else. God always thinks ahead. He doesn't think like we think. And it's definitely only way we can think like he thinks is obey his commandments, statutes, and ordinances. And 34, and Ahithophel was Jehoiada, the son of Benaiah. And after Ahithophel was Jehoiada, the son of Benaiah, and Abiathar, that was a priest, and the generals of the king's army was Joab, as we've read in previous chapters. Yes. This is the order of the kingdom of Israel is what he's talking about. David established that order according to the word of the Most High. From the Levite to the government of each province, each city, each village, or whatever you want to call it. This is like Africa. All of this land, this what they call the Middle East, which is a lie, it's now colonized. It's colonized by those, they're called mixed, they're called clients. And they put many out of Mecca and they say, well, these are what was left of them. But no, most of the people, they ran away, and now those same people are the same people that's in Niger, Burkina Faso, Mali, Benin, and all the other areas. These are your Arabs all the way from Syria, all the way on down, Babylon, all the way on down. All of these people have traveled through the continent of what is called Africa, even unto that east coast. They were also Hamites. A lot of the places have been Hamitic places. Now some have settled in places like Kenya and other places, and these people know who each other are. They know who each other are. But then God knows those who are his, and if we obey those things that God says and commands of us, even the stranger, we will have peace.
Walk with me.